Caring for dementia residents in dementia units can be difficult and demanding. A lot of discipline and dedication is needed, especially in the long term. In New Zealand, a lot of the staff in dementia units are Filipino, and they're very skilled, efficient and organised because it takes a lot of stamina working in a dementia unit. As one carer, you're looking after often 8 dementia residents. For that person, you have to cover everything: the showers, the hair washing, the dressing, the cares. Then it's all the meals as well, serving the meals on your shift, and then doing the dishes, cleaning up, morning and afternoon tea as well. On the list goes. It's just a massive workload. And to be able to cover all this in a shift, you really need to have ongoing stamina. Every shift, every day, 5 days a week, and often double shifts the Filipino staff do. They work incredibly hard. I mean, I've never actually witnessed anything quite like it. But I worked with these people for many years, learnt a lot, and it was incredibly inspiring. For example, there was one nurse who I worked with for 3 years, and she was incredibly dedicated, as all Filipinos are, but she was the exception to the rule in the sense that she never took any breaks. And I mean any breaks. She'd maybe have half a sandwich while she was doing the computer at lunchtime. That was it. Never sitting back and relaxing while she was working. And at her farewell, which she hardly took a break for that, she just said to me in passing, without no arrogance or claim to fame, she just said, "Oh, I haven't really taken a break since I've been at this job." And I thought, no, you haven't taken, I had certainly witnessed that. And of course, she was just saying it as a, matter of fact as if it was part of life. But to me, it was exceptionally, to the extreme. Now, of course, it's not healthy not to take breaks. We need breaks. And it's certainly New Zealanders, we take our breaks. And the other girls, many of them, most were Filipinos, some Southeast Asian from India and other countries, were as hardworking. I was astounded. At lunch, you have your lunch in the back of the nurses' station, crowded little room, no place to have your lunch, no view, no air, no anything. You just sit there crammed up, computers all around, and all the other girls, Filipino girls, Southeast Asian, on the computer, having their lunch, doing their notes, speaking to their child at home, talking to the husband, 5 jobs at once. That was their break. Oh, I don't know how they did it. It's just a different mechanism. I mean, the Kiwi, there we are. We want to sit back, have a sandwich, sit in the sun, have a think, whatever, cup of Milo, cup of coffee in peace. We expect that. But it's not like that with the Filipinos and the other people that work in dementia units. So this is what I learned. I mean, I can't say my capacity improved much. Oh, it did actually. I think it did pick up a bit, because I did feel that I had to pick up my pace a bit, especially around lunch times and afternoon and morning teas. But, I certainly still had my breaks because I just couldn't function without it. But it's a different culture in New Zealand. We expect our breaks and our holidays. We expect to be able to go to the beach on our day off and, tour the North Island if we want to 2 weeks a year and, at least get to the beach once a week, etc. But Filipino staff work so hard and they do double shifts and they've got a ready smile, they're caring, they're kind, they really do have it all in terms of caring for dementia residents, and that's why the residents are so fortunate to have these Filipino nurses work, with them. Mind you, what happens is that because a lot of these Filipino staff don't really get home much because they're at work the whole time, they make work their home, especially with food. I mean, they're very good with food. And if anyone has a birthday, actually, this is a different culture point. If they have a birthday, the one that has the birthday is expected to bring a whole lot of food for the staff. Whereas in New Zealand, if you have a birthday, everyone else shouts you out for lunch or dinner or buys you a cake or whatever. But with the Filipino staff, they all would get a cake or a pizza or some other thing for all the staff of all shifts for that day. Generous, generous. And when a staff member would leave, there'd be this big banquet, like Christmas Day style for us. Everyone would bring these big platters of food, and it was really quite incredible. And they're all still very slim, you know, because they work so hard they don't put on any weight. So it is quite different. Now, some New Zealand nurses do work in dementia units where I was working. This is just where I was working. D3 dementia facility, which is the first level dementia facility, but they would only stay temporarily, not long term. Those Kiwis who had worked at hospitals and other places prior, but not dementia units, couldn't believe the workload. There's actually so much more to do in a dementia unit because you've got falls, you've got confusion, you've got so much more going on in terms of chaotic behaviour, people not understanding, and then of course having to do all the day-to-day cares, medications. You know, people are setting off fire alarms, doing what they want, not taking into consideration that everyone's busy and trying to do their job. That does not come into it for the dementia resident. So everything is time consuming in a dementia unit, and there is never enough time to do everything. So it was very interesting working with these people. It was a great privilege. Now, I did go to one dementia resident because I was really genuinely interested as to how these people, these Filipino girls and boys and men and women, managed to do this work at such a pace and such a speed. It was incredible, like Olympic speed. I mean, they were so fast in the way they did everything. They were light, they were flexible, they were quick on their feet. Being amongst it, you know, if you're doing a job with them, serving lunch or whatever you're doing, you really do have to pick up your speed, and it's like quite a focus is needed. So it certainly got me going. But I said to one of the dementia residents one particular day, he was a very astute guy, this man, he observed well, and I knew that I'd get a good answer from him. And I said, look, how do you find the Filipino staff and the Southeast Asian staff as the carers and nurses here? And he said, they really are kind and caring. They are a kind and caring race. That's what he said about the Filipino girls and the Southeast Asian girls. They are a kind and caring race, and it's just like having your mother around, and it's very comforting. So I thought that was a very nice analogy and explanation of what he experienced. And then I said, so how do you find the Kiwi women that work here? Not that there are many, but still. He said, they're born to be independent. Born to be independent. And I thought, that's a very good way of looking at it as well. So anyway, his little encapsulated expression of the difference between Filipinos and New Zealanders I quite liked. So it was a great privilege working with the Filipino staff. Fantastic experience, actually. I really enjoyed it. Having been a physio and working with Kiwis all my working life, and then as a diversional therapist with the Filipinos and other Southeast Asian staff. There were one or two other people from European countries, Western countries, but not many. So I have written about these topics at length in the two books, The Resident's Voice from a Dementia Unit and The Resident's Rise from a Dementia Unit. Now, these books are about the dementia residents' experiences, what they've been through, what they've communicated with me, what they've told me about what's needed, not just for them, but as they used to say, the people coming after us. We need to speak on behalf of the people coming after us so they can have a better time of it, so they can have the resources, so others can understand what's needed. And they were just referring to people coming ongoingly to the dementia unit, but also in the world at large. They said other people need to know this work that we've, spent so much time doing, and it's important that all this work doesn't have to be repeated. Certainly it couldn't be repeated. It's been such a big, massive, great task to do the books and these 1,000 videos. So thank you for your likes and your looks. Please pass on.